The Secret Button. Liliana lived with her grandmother in a cozy cottage at the edge of a small village, a quiet place where the birds chirped merrily in the mornings and the evenings were filled with the sweet scent of wildflowers. Life was simple and peaceful, and Liliana found joy in the little things. She helped her grandmother around the house and spent the rest of her time playing by the stream or wandering through the dense forest nearby. Liliana had one true friend, Mara, who lived in the heart of the village. Mara's home, however, was very different from Liliana's. While Liliana's grandmother was warm and loving, Mara's father had remarried after her mother's death, and her stepmother was anything but kind. The young girl was often seen carrying heavy bundles of firewood, doing chores that seemed too much for someone her age. She wasn't allowed to play or rest like the other children in the village. Liliana always felt a pang of sadness when she saw Mara working tirelessly, her face pinched in exhaustion, but she never had the courage to confront her stepmother. One bright afternoon, after months of not seeing each other, Liliana decided to visit Mara. Her grandmother agreed to accompany her, and together, they made their way through the village, crossing over the little bridge that led to Mara's house. The house was small, and the garden was overgrown with weeds. As they approached, Liliana noticed Mara standing in the yard, bent over a pile of laundry, her arms tired and sore. Her stepmother, a stern woman with sharp features, was standing nearby, watching her every move. "Liliana, Grandma." Mara greeted them with a weary smile, but her eyes were heavy with sadness. "It's been so long since we've seen each other." "We've missed you, Mara," Liliana said, her heart aching as she looked at her friend's tired face. "We were hoping you could come with us for a walk." Mara hesitated, glancing at her stepmother, who gave her a cold, hard stare. "Maybe later," Mara murmured. "There's too much work to do." Liliana stepped forward, her voice soft but firm. "Why don't you come with us now? You deserve a break. You shouldn't be doing all this work alone." Her stepmother, overhearing the conversation, crossed her arms and spoke sharply. "Mara has responsibilities here, just like everyone else. If she wants to be lazy, she'll have to face the consequences." Mara flinched at the harshness in her stepmother's voice, but didn't argue. Liliana could see the hopelessness in her friend's eyes. She couldn't let it go on any longer. "Mara," Liliana said, stepping closer to her, "you don't have to stay here and let her treat you like this. You deserve more. Why don't you come with us? We'll find a way to make a living for ourselves. We can do something beautiful, something that makes you happy." Mara looked down, unsure. "But I don't have anything. I don't have money to start anything." Grandma, who had been quietly observing the exchange, nodded thoughtfully. "Liliana, remember the sweater your teacher gave you?" Liliana's eyes widened as she realized what her grandmother was hinting at. She had received a beautiful hand-knitted sweater from her teacher when she was younger. The teacher had told her that it was special, but Liliana had never fully understood why. She'd kept it carefully tucked away, never wearing it, thinking it was too precious. "Yes, Grandma," Liliana replied, excited by the idea forming in her mind. Grandma smiled gently. "There's magic in that sweater. In the first button, there's a small compartment. When I received it, your teacher gave me a ring to keep inside it. She said that one day, I would meet a kind heart who needed it more than I did." Liliana's heart raced. She remembered the ring her grandmother had kept in the first button of the sweater all these years. It was a beautiful silver ring with an intricate design, one that had always fascinated Liliana when she was a child. Grandma continued, "The ring is valuable, not just in gold, but in the change it can bring. It will help you start something important." Liliana felt a surge of hope. She turned to Mara, who was watching them with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "Mara," Liliana said softly, "you take the ring. You don't need money to start. Sometimes, all it takes is a little courage and belief in yourself. This ring is special, and it's meant for you. It's a way to begin something new." Mara was quiet for a long moment. She looked down at the ground, her face a mix of doubt and wonder. Finally, she reached out slowly and took the ring from Liliana. It felt warm in her hand, as if it had been waiting for her all along. "Are you sure?" Mara whispered, her voice trembling. "I don't know if I can do this." Liliana smiled at her friend, her heart full of compassion. "You can, Mara. You just need to take the first step. We'll help you. You don't have to do this alone." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Mara, with the help of Liliana and her grandmother, began to plan her new life. They decided on a business making handcrafted home decor and crafts, something that would allow her to work from home and have the freedom she longed for. Grandma helped with the designs, while Liliana took care of the practical details, including finding materials and marketing the products. At first, it wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments of doubt, and many sleepless nights. But Mara never gave up. Slowly but surely, her business began to grow. Word of her beautiful creations spread throughout the village, and soon, she was receiving orders from neighboring towns. The ring, which had once seemed like a simple gesture, became a symbol of the new life Mara was building. One day, Mara came to visit Liliana and her grandmother, her face beaming with joy. "I did it," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "I started my own business, and it's growing. I never thought it was possible." Liliana hugged her tightly, her heart swelling with happiness for her friend. "I knew you could do it, Mara. You just needed someone to believe in you." Grandma smiled as she watched the two girls, her eyes filled with pride. "You've both done something wonderful. You've turned a dream into reality." From that day on, Mara's life was filled with new possibilities. She became known not only for her beautiful crafts, but for her resilience and strength. She continued to live in her father's house, but her stepmother, seeing the success Mara had achieved on her own, no longer held any power over her. Mara had found her voice, and with it, she built a future she could be proud of. Liliana and her grandmother were always by her side, supporting her in every step of her journey. Together, they had turned Mara's life around, proving that sometimes, all it takes is a little magic, a kind heart, and the courage to dream. And so, in the quiet village on the outskirts of the forest, three women built a life of beauty and love, where their dreams were no longer limited by circumstances, and their futures were as bright as the stars in the sky.